So, on this Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day, where maybe a lot of you in this COVID lifestyle, as one of my Taoist friends calls it, the Corona capsule, are spending maybe more time than you're ever used to by yourselves. Or for some of you, maybe that is part of how your daily life is for many reasons, and it can be. I wanted to address how having solitude is actually an antidote to one of the biggest problems we have in modern life that contributes to all illnesses, especially chronic illness. And that is what was called by, yes, an MD, Larry Dossey MD, Vietnam veteran, in his book Space, Time, and Medicine, which don't worry if you're not adept at quantum physics because that's where he goes in this book. He describes how our modern culture, one of the largest problems that happens that affects all kinds of health problems, is what he calls hurry up sickness. And in the era of COVID, all of a sudden, it's not just everybody had to slow down. Everybody who was already sped up and didn't know it, along with those of us who already had to slow down for other reasons, everybody came to a grinding halt. And of course, while change is the nature of things, according to Taoism, people abhor change, especially when it is thrust upon them by circumstances out of their control. And that is often how it happens. So now we have this opportunity in this Corona capsule of realizing that, wait, we have the ability to take time for ourselves. That's what solitude is all about. And that is an important component of not only keeping us well, but also for those of us who have any kind of a chronic illness, to help us maintain our quality of life and even improve our quality of life. So that solitude is about capturing time. And this is what Larry Dossey refers to in Space, Time, and Medicine. Capturing time for yourself. Our culture has made us think that our time needs to be spent in a quote-unquote productive way. Hello. Spending time on your own, relaxing, doing something that helps you feel free and feel unencumbered, that is as productive as when you work. So I'll give you an example. When I am writing, that is a solitary pursuit. I'm the only one who's writing. I'm the only one who's in the room. I have headphones on, so I am not disturbed by anyone. However, I am certainly not alone because there are a bunch of characters in my head, so I am listening to them while I am writing. So I am not alone. On the other hand, if I go outside, whether it's to sit in my garden or to take a walk, I am by and large in a condition that I would call solitude. And I would distinguish this from isolation. And there is a fine line, and it does affect health. And I'll get into that the next time I speak about solitude. But for now, I want you to think about your time on your own, even if that means going outside and taking a walk in your neighborhood. And I would strongly urge you to do that in an unplugged state. In other words, no earbuds. If you want to take your cell phone in case you need to call somebody or have to receive a call, that's one thing. But think about whether you need to receive that call. Have that time on your own. Listen to the sounds around you. Pay attention to the neighborhood around you. You might meet a random neighbor and just be able to say hi. You might meet a random cat or a random dog and be able to say hi. You might see somebody's garden and think, well, wait a minute, maybe I could plant that in my yard. Or, wait a minute, I don't have a yard, but maybe that would work in a pot on my balcony. This is your time for you. That's what solitude is about. You have no constraint about, you have a schedule. It is unconstructed time. And so much of our time is constructed by tasks we need to do, and then when we're working, those tasks as well. So solitude is part of your unconstructed time. You may intermittently interact with somebody, but it's not necessarily going to be a long interaction. Most of the time, now I live in a small town. If you live in a large city, this might be slightly different. I'm not going to be engaged for minutes on end with somebody, with rare exception. If I go out for a walk, I'm on my own. It's my solitude. When I'm inside in my home, it's my solitude. When I am not speaking with someone on the phone who I need to speak with or want to speak with, that's my solitude. And so, in those moments of solitude, my time is not only my own, but also my time is unencumbered by a constraint. So, in this day and age, so many people have been so used to living a lifestyle where not only because of their work, but also because of how they've chosen to live their social lives, that their whole schedule is constrained by time in terms of classes and meetings and social gatherings, to the point where they have no time for themselves, that all of a sudden, guess what? One of the blessings of this time may be that people are discovering that, yes, having time to yourself, for yourself, on your pace, is a value, not just for your mental health, but also for your physical health. Now, conversely, while the clock has made us slaves to the clock in the post-industrial age, the clock originally was devised in order for monks who lived in solitude to make sure they set time apart from their tasks, of which they had many because they were self-supporting as a community, for prayer and reflection. So, a wonderful book, and both of these books, you might have to find them used. This one, The Soul of the World, is a wonderful collection of both beautiful nature photography and collections from around the world, from all different cultures, from literature, that is meant to give you a moment to reflect on the moment of the day. So right now, because by the time I get this up, it is probably going to be, at least in my time zone, 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. was referred to in the Catholic Church as Compline. And I love this poem. And I'll show you the photograph after I read it. When each day is sacred, when each hour is sacred, when each instant is sacred, earth and you, space and you, bearing the sacred through time, you'll reach the fields of light. And this was written by a poet by the name of Guillevec. He was Breton, and it was in the early 20th century. And the photograph is of Glastonbury Tor. And for those of you who are familiar with Glastonbury, you will understand why it's appropriate at this time of year. So keep in mind that solitude is part of making part of your day sacred to you. And when you do that, you actually create a sacred space for everyone around you, whether they know it or not. So it's not about whether they know. It's about that you take the time to give yourself this space to be completely present in time. Because as the Hopis say, there is no time except presence. It's simultaneous. The present, the past, the future, they all exist right now. When you have moments of solitude where you are not engaged in a task, you will become aware of that. And if that becomes part of your daily routine, you will be in touch with that every day. So I encourage you, despite the fact that maybe solitude rankles because it's not a part of your routine that you are used to having, and now it seems to be enforced, embrace it in a way that makes it your own. And perhaps when our lives move back toward what that new normal is going to be, and none of us know what that's going to look like, capture some of that daily solitude for yourself. And if you live in a family situation, encourage all the other members of your family to do the same, so that everybody has that moment to themselves where they can see the world in a different way because they have slowed down and life is no longer about being in a hurry. That will make you physically well, and it will also help you be mentally well. So enjoy your solitude, and if it is difficult, find a way to make it enjoyable. And I will talk to you next time. Happy Boxing Day. Happy St. Stephen's Day. Bye.